I must say, it is really interesting what AEW does. It's like the serious product and the comedy, and then you have the new faces, then you have potential breakout stars, you have one-offs, but you don't really know what to expect. Dark just keeps surprising me. A couple of these names I knew, more of them I'm just learning, but I digress. Why don't I shed some light on this? Hello, everybody. Now, I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster, and welcome to this new series I am starting called AEWSPARK. In this series, I will be providing you a simple take on AEW Dark, as well as my insight and predictions for AEW Dynamite. This is episode number 1, recorded Tuesday, February 18th, 8:59 p.m. And in this, I'm going to once again review, highlight, and give my simple takeaways from this week's episode's AEW Dark that I just got done watching, as well as my brief insight, predictions, and what I think could come from what might happen tomorrow night on AEW Dynamite. With that, why don't we just get right into it? So our first match was the out-of-this-world athlete in The Alien, Chris Statlander, versus LAX 5150 Forever, this little dynamite firecracker, Diamante. Diamante and Chris Statlander, they are no strangers to each other. And allow me to give you a little bit of insight to myself, in case you're wondering, who is this guy? What does he know? I have been watching wrestling for 28 years now. I'm 28 years old. It's been a part of my whole life. Independent wrestling has been at the forefront at my heart as a wrestling fan when I grew out of the idea of sports entertainment, and it became dull and plain to me. It is then that I discovered so much in the world of wrestling through incredible athletes. I've looked at promotions, including but not limited to over-the-top wrestling, title match wrestling, wrestling circus, barroom wrestling, beyond wrestling. I've seen intergender, I've seen death matches, I've seen ZCW, I've seen Pro Wrestling Eve. The list goes on and on. For I am simply a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. So allow me to give you my brief insight in this week's episode of AEW Dark and AEW Dynamite. So, the first match was Chris Statlander versus Diamante. This was definitely a one-sided match. An incredible, once again, dominant performance. Chris Statlander, who has broken out of AEW's women's division since day one, winning her debut against a very high-caliber athlete, and has surprised the likes of even Hikaru Shida, who I might add at this point, according to AEW rankings, is the next number one contender, I believe, for the AEW Women's Championship, recently won by Nyla Rose. A very one-sided performance. It started off with Chris Statlander giving you that little boop, basically establishing a connection to you. Started off with Bryce, which was referee Bryce Weisberg. Tried to do the same for Diamante, didn't work. Diamante was not going to take it. Diamante is, of course, no nonsense. I, of course, remember her from TNA and her time in LAX 5150. Shout out to Conan. By the way, go follow his podcast, folks. And I don't know if Diamante is officially signed with All Elite Wrestling yet, so who knows? Anyway, this was a very one-sided match as Chris Statlander took this very seriously and basically kind of destroyed her. Diamante got a little bit of offense in, but then she got face planted on the apron, and towards the end she got basically a punt kick, and then of course big bang fury finisher where she literally sits on her. It's like a sunset driver basically, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. So basically, Chris Statlander adds another win to her repertoire. And remember, wins and losses matter in AEW as well as AEW Dark, unless Lights Out are on sanction. And she continues her way up the rankings, I imagine, once again trying to get back in championship contention. Her first championship match was such a farce because of some stupid booking idea, but I'm just glad it's over. Thank goodness AEW actually listens to the fans a little bit. Diamante, with another performance, he of course is no stranger to Chris. These two have faced each other on the independent scene. I believe, I can't remember the name of the promotion. Someone has to help me with that. Queens Wrestling or something like that? Anyway, I knew these two were going to have a pretty decent match, but boy, it seemed a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. Anyway, I hope to see more of Diamante and Chris. She keeps building momentum. Following that, we go into what really is the forefront of AEW, and that is tag team wrestling. Pretty revival. Anyway, this match was, of course, the hybrid two of Jack Evans and Angelico versus who are quickly becoming, I think, the most popular tag team in All Elite Wrestling. If not because of them, their third, the Best Friends, which, of course, are Trent and Chucky, and, of course, Orange Cassidy, who I think at this point still is the most over person in AEW and has yet to do a wrestling match. How is that possible? And I knew as soon as he came out, I was like, there's one thing I've learned since going to my first AEW live show in Cleveland, is that you neutralize the biggest threat in a tag team match. The biggest threat is Orange Cassidy. He's not even in the match, but he plays that much of a difference. And clearly, the Hybrid 2, they kind of saw that as a huge cheap shot, took out Orange Cassidy, and literally infuriated the best friends. And they were driven off emotion. Of course, the Hybrid 2, they took advantage of that, literally pulling off a gory special, stacking the two off like cornbread, and then a standing moonsault into a quick near fall. As the Hybrid 2 continued to control the best friends, though, and they were going for a higher offense, which is one of their stables as Mexican hybrids, per se. And I've been a fan of the Hybrid 2, Jack Evans and Angelico, ever since seeing their work through Lucha Underground. I'm, of course, very familiar with Chucky and Trent, who I am surprised at this point they have not imploded, but I guess as long as Orange Cassidy, there's no chance of that happening, from all their work through Ring of Honor and, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling, when I thought this tag team was going to literally destroy itself. Not the case. Anyway, as far as this match goes, though, of course, Orange Cassidy, he became the difference maker towards the end as we see them setting up a higher offense move on the best friends. And, of course, the most lethal strikes in the game. Orange Cassidy tries to take him off the top rope. I believe it was Angelico. And Jack Evans, he tries to come into play. And basically, Orange Cassidy, he does nothing but turns around, trips on the top rope, bumps the rope, and drops Angelico, awkward landing, on the top turnbuckle. Thumbs up. Once again, both men incapacitated. The best friends, they take advantage. And, of course, we get the hug. You gotta give the people what they want. I really do like the commentary tandem of Excalibur and Taz, the human suplex machine. It's pretty awesome, in my opinion. And, of course, as we get towards the end of the match, it was Strong Zero with the sit-out sunset driver type variation with the stomp. That allowed Trent, of course, to pin Jack for the win. 1, 2, 3. Pretty good tag team match, and of course this is foreshadowing as both these teams will be in the tag team battle royal to determine the new number one contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championships. That of course will be defended at AEW Revolution. More to come on that a little later when I get into AEW Dynamite. And as far as this goes, best friends build momentum, adding another win to their record. The Hybrid 2 have yet to get a tag team win this year. Is things going to change in their favor? I don't know. It certainly has been one of my favorite tag teams to watch though in wrestling. And they definitely carry themselves with a lot of swag and ego and style. Anyway, moving on from there, we go into our third match, which is, of course, women's wrestling. Women's wrestling is a very strong showcase here. They just really needed to find some more characters and build out stars. I think they could possibly do that with Big Swole. I don't think Swole is the same as Swerve, though, which is defined as confidence. But still, Swole, once again, showing how passionate she is about this. Another amazing match. Against a debuting... let me see if I get the name right here. Christy James. Now, Christy James has had worked with the likes of Deonna Purrazzo, Leva Bates, Chelsea Green. The list goes on and on. I know a little bit of her work watching her for Wrestling Circus. And yes, to this day, still one of my favorite matches of Wrestling Circus is Brian Cage versus Tessa Blanchard. There, I said it. Anyway, she also has worked in Championship Wrestling Hollywood, a promotion that I know my good friend Jeff Meacham. Please follow him, folks, and the Jeff Meacham Network. Great listening, talk wrestling, great brand. He, of course, follows that wholeheartedly. And these two had a really great match, but they brought up a little bit of influence in this Brazilian Brutale's repertoire off of her training partners, per se, in Lucha Bros themselves, Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. It's showcased here with a beautiful inside her run off the top rope, but in the end, a wicked headbutt. Swole once again showing a very dominant performance. Kind of back and forth, though, for the beginning portion of this match. I think Christy put up a pretty good fight. I wouldn't mind seeing more of her. It's amazing how many women's talents they show and how many are actually signed to AEW. But anyway, of course, with the ripcord spin-out forearm smash move called Dirty Dancing after a pump kick, Big Swole gets the win and continues her momentum this year so far in All Elite Wrestling. As, again, we basically have a reset of the women's division. And, again, I'll talk more about that in a moment. I'm very happy for Big Swole, especially considering the story they've told about her through AEW Road 2s, and of course Kenny Omega, who also has played a major influence in the women's division, encouraging her and asking her to sign, and they signed her. And I think that Christy James had a pretty good showing. Again, I keep it simple. You want more details, we'll see where this series goes. We'd love to hear your input. Anyway, following this pretty darn good match, we go into our main event, and this is the thing about Dark. Sometimes the main event is a match you want to remember for its incredible action. Other times, it's just fun for the audience, and it's a one-off that you will never see on television. This right here was just fun. It was the team of the Librarian, Peter Avalon with Leva Bates, and their partner, Mr. Apple Guy himself, straight out of the Big Apple, no pun intended, QT Marshall, versus the Young Bucks, the Elite themselves. This match was very entertaining. There was a little bit of miscommunication, a little bit of jaw-jacking, literally, a little bit of book play. Do not take a book away from Leva Bates when she's trying to read to you, otherwise you make her mad. I did not know Leva Bates had that in her. Anyway, as QT Marshall showed off a little more what he could do and potential in being a high-class wrestler, a little bit of flips himself, that kind of infuriated Peter Avalon. Young Bucks, they took control after Peter Avalon's like, come over here, I'm going to show you wrestling. Yeah, you show me wrestling, you just didn't do it. As during this match, he got super kick, suplex, and of course, MVP of this match, got to give it to Matt Jackson with eight straight normalized suplexes. Good grief, get on the train, suplex machine. And basically at this point, when Peter Avalon once again regained control over the Young Bucks, it looked like he was going to use a book. QT's like, no books. You don't say that to a librarian, apparently. He gets whacked with a book, taken out. Peter Avalon takes his apple, takes a bite out of it, and ends up paying for it. And really chewing it hard as he gets a super kick party, and then he gets pinned with Best Meltzer Driver 1, 2, 3. Another loss for QT Marshall. Still no win yet for Peter Avalon. That's one thing Leva Bates can hold over him, because she does have a win in a tag team match that she was never involved in, but still wins a win. And the Young Bucks, they continue to build momentum as they head into AEW Dynamite tomorrow night in the Tag Team Battle Royal to see if they can go after the tag team titles again. And that was this week's episode of AEW Dark. I thought it was pretty good as always. I always enjoy the action. I enjoy getting debuts. I enjoy learning. I enjoy wrestling. There was nothing really bad on this show. And there's probably nothing that would be like, oh, I should go watch that again. But again, it's just fun wrestling. It does help build stars as far as in the ring goes. You might see potential new signings. And again, wins and losses matter, as all 4 matches showcased here. But let's face it, there were some pretty obvious results. If you really think Peter Avalon and QT Marshall were going to win the main event, I think you'd be crazy. But I digress. Now, with that being said, how about I go into this week's episode of AEW Dynamite? But before I go into that and give my brief highlights based on what I know so far, let me also mention for those of you who don't know about AEW Dynamite, they use what is a ranking system. And usually they come out with new rankings every week before the episode of AEW Dynamite that night. These rankings help determine who could potentially challenge for the championship, because your overall is always tracked, but it's reset yearly. And your wins matter in singles or tag matches, and what I think is going to be soon titles, trios matches. These are the 3 staples that create and make AEW, All Elite Wrestling. And these rankings, of course, rank the top 5 in tag teams, in single men, and in single women. Now, if I remember correctly, our number 1 right now, I believe, is Hikaru Shida for the women. And by the way, she's probably been the one that has impressed me the most in the women's division since day 1. Thank you, Kenny Omega. Number 1 for the men, I believe, is Jon Moxley as we head towards AEW Revolution. And number 1 for the tag team, I believe, was SCU. However, come tomorrow morning, when the new rankings come out, I think that's going to change considering they lost their rematch for the tag team championships. The current champs in AEW are, of course, Le Champion, Chris Jericho, the inaugural, I might add, AEW World Champion, and still champion to this day. The new women's champion in Nyla Rose, beating Riho, who had over, I believe, 130 days, and is the second ever AEW Women's Champion. And now you have this tag team duo of the Elite in Kenny Omega and Heyman and Page as your AEW Men Tag Team Champions. The second, I might add, ever tag team champions in All Elite Wrestling. Now, with that being said, let me go ahead and give you my brief thoughts into what you can expect in AEW Dynamite and what I think is going to happen. It is once again a very loaded card. Ton of professional wrestling here, unique firsts to say the least, and definitely story-changing matches to behold and angles to be set out. And of course, I don't tell you the whole card. There's going to be more to come. But here's what I know so far. First off, in his pursuit to face MJF one-on-one after the events that occurred back at Full Gear and the hell he has been putting him through, including the 10 Lashes segment. That was insane. It will be the American Nightmare, Cody versus MJF's Muscle, the War Machine. I'm sorry, I don't know his nickname, actually. It's just Wardlow. His name's Wardlow. He makes his in-ring debut against Cody in AEW's first ever Steel Cage match. Okay, so here's the thing. As part of the stipulations, he just has to go through a steel cage match with Wardlow. It never was specified whether or not he had to win or lose to get the match with MJF. He just had to go through it. He had to take 10 lashes on TV, did that, and he cannot touch MJF at all. And so far, he hasn't. In a steel cage, you know the stipulations. You either escape or you win via pinfall or submission. It's meant to keep people in. There's no doubt in my mind Cody is not going to be 100%, okay? He's not going to be 100%. Wardlow has yet to prove himself in All Elite Wrestling. But my friend AJ, straight from Cleveland, huge fan of AEW, Absolute Intense Wrestling, and you guys know many of the names that have come through that promotion that we see in, other stuff, but I'm not mentioning any promotion names. Anyway, I just don't know about this match. I feel like continuing the story here, and obviously Arn Anderson, the coach, he's going to be there at ringside one way or another to try and help Cody by coaching. I feel like Cody has to try and survive this, but I don't necessarily think he has to win this. And then Wardlow, he's just got that one mission: destroy Cody. It's clear that MJF doesn't want to face Cody, nor does he feel like Cody should face him. Because I'm better than you and you know it, I'm the new face of AEW. Or excuse me, the face of AEW. But if I have to think about who's going to win here, because they're obviously aren't going to do a no contest. This isn't the other company, okay? Just saying. So horrible. I'm going to say that somehow, some way, Cody survives and escapes. I feel like there's going to be a lot of shenanigans. I feel like he's going to be brutalized. But somehow, I just got to give some sort of momentum to Cody. He's an incredible storyteller. He's very, passionate and hungry about what he does. And he's obviously going to put over Wardlow. But I just don't think Wardlow needs this win right now. And it's a gimmick, so he's protected in defeat, per se. I don't think Cody's going to pin him. I just think he's going to survive and escape. And I think Arn's going to help him do that. But then again, MJF is known to have higher muscle. Will B and B get involved? It depends when this match gets placed and probably the results of the next match I'm going to talk about. But anyway, as far as that match goes, my pick is Cody. What do you all think? Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. The next match I'm going to talk about is not a match, but a battle royale, as we will determine new number one contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championships that will face the champions come the end of the night. I'll get into more of that a little bit at AEW Revolution. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, AEW Revolution is the first pay-per-view for AEW this year, and it will take place from downtown Chicago on Saturday, February 29th, and it's looking to be one hell of a show. And the thing, right now we only got 2 matches official. Anyway, this tag team battle royal features basically all the tag teams that are not the champ or involved in the title match that I'll talk about soon. You have the teams of, but not limited to, the Hybrid 2, I'm going to try and name them all, the Best Friends, Butcher and Blade, with Bunny at ringside, of course. Allie, one of my favorite characters ever. Anyway, going off topic. Private Party, you're going to have the Dark Order, you're going to have Young Bucks, you're going to have Jurassic Express, which I imagine is going to be the tandem of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, because, I gotta be honest, I cannot see the tandem of Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt winning this. That would be a disastrous choice. Just saying. No offense. And I feel like I'm missing something, but maybe you people can help me. I'm trying to think here. Let's just go with that. So basically, what's going to happen here is in this Tag Team Battle Royale, if you and your partner are eliminated, that's it. Over the top rope. I don't know whether or not if it comes down to the final 2, it's just going to be a straight up wrestling match. And that means that basically you just have to pin or submit the guy. I'm sure someone can tell me more about that, though, in the comments. But if I were to think about who could I see winning this, or who do I want to see win this, I think about it like this. There's been that story about Hangman Adam Page. Is he all elite? Is he separating himself? Is he going to cost the elite? For those that watch Being Elite, every Monday at noon, Eastern Standard Time, you saw the same things I did. He's basically going around and telling people things to look out for and to be gentle with, per se. One of the Bucks, who might have a bad back, the other one might have a bad eye. So basically, what that means is he's trying to sabotage the Bucks from winning this and potentially getting an all-elite tag team championship match at Revolution. And I just brought it up on my phone in case you're wondering, because I'm going to try and be simple but clear as possible. According to this, both members of the team must be eliminated. So there you go. Oh, that's who I forgot. Oh, my bad. I forgot Strong Hearts, Proud and Powerful, and of course the former champs, SCU. Now, with that being said, what team do I see winning this? It seems obvious to pick the Young Bucks, but I think they're just going to be prime target. I could actually see them the first being eliminated. I've been very high on the Hybrid 2, who have yet to get a big win, or even a freaking tag win per se so far this year. It would be a huge, huge wild card if these two won it. But then there's a lot of potential in all these other teams too. I would love to see Strong Hearts involved again because SEMA versus Omega was one of my favorite matches of last year from the Fight for the Fallen free special, I might add. Inner Circle, they might go after more gold. Could be Proud and Powerful. Private Party, they have beaten the Young Bucks before, so there's that history. But they also have history with the Lucha Bros, and I'll get more into that a little bit from HLG. I could see that duo happening 2-on-2, but it depends if they become champs. But with that being said, I am going to keep it simple and just simply say this. I actually want to see the Hybrid 2 win this. They have previous history with the Elite because they faced them before. They have yet to get a tag team victory this year, and I feel like they're on the cusp of potentially doing it. And based on the events that I saw in AEW Dark, I could see them immediately going after the best friends, because Orange Cassidy won't be involved in this, but I'm sure he'll be involved in ringside. So with that being said, my pick to win the Tag Team Battle Royal is the Hybrid 2, to face either the current tag team champions of the Best Bout Machine, Kenny Omega, and Mr. Cowboy Shit himself, hold my beer. Good grief, I would not want to see him on a sobriety test. Hangman Adam Page versus Cyril Miedo, the Lucha Brothers. As last week on Dynamite, the Lucha Brothers pinned one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions in an 8-man tag team match where it was the Elite versus B&B with Bunny and the Lucha Bros, with Pentagon, and I called it, pinning Hangman Adam Page. And so we have this tag team title match officially made. So now the Lucha Brothers, they have their second chance at the AEW Tag Team Championships, because their first chance, they came up short via a roll-up. And the referee was Aubrey Edwards, best ref in the business, I believe, for AEW. And basically, SCU, they picked up a roll-up win. This is redemption for the Lucha Bros if they win this here. However, I still keep waiting for a potential Pentagon Jr. versus Kenny Omega one-on-one match, just like at All In. But I also think about the fact that right now they are driving the story of, is Page splitting from the Elite? What will happen once they lose these titles? Is Page going to turn on Omega? Because we already know what Omega's future is going to hold. He's got a 30-minute Iron Man match coming up next week, I believe, against the bastard Pac, which is basically going to be the rubber match, and I cannot wait for that. So, who do I see winning this Tag Team Championship match to face my potential pick from the Tag Team Battle Royal, the Hybrid 2? Based on the fact that I just don't see them doing heel-on-heel dynamic, I do see the champs retaining. But I also see a little bit of redemption, per se, or vengeance, how you put it. Because again, Pentagon Jr. pinned Hangman Adam Page. I think Hangman Adam Page is going to pick up the win for his team with the help of Omega via their Buckshot V-Trigger tag team combination finish. And I think Hangman Adam Page is actually going to pin Rey Fenix. I get it. Rey Fenix, he could definitely be top tier rising single star. But he already had a couple of losses against the best friends. But again, he's incredible in singles. But if Pentagon is the fall here, I just don't know. Again, I can see Pentagon just adding fuel to the fire to this. This could lead once again to what I think might happen soon of Omega versus Pentagon. But bottom line, I believe the champ's going to retain, and I am actually going to go with Hangman Page actually pinning Rey Fenix. And we'll see what happens soon enough. And then from there, you will get at Revolution, Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega versus the Hybrid 2. A unique tag team championship match that people probably won't expect, and I think goes against the grain and against the obvious. Because I could sense the Young Bucks being involved in, well, something else. They previously faced Proud and Powerful back at Full Gear. Why not face another team? Heck, why not face the hired muscle of freaking MJF and BNB? Why not face the Lucha Brothers again, where both teams would be really salty? There's just a lot of different dynamics I can see here. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going against the grain. Which leads me to what I think might close the show, but then again, might not. And for those that know me, they know I'm a #1 fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I also reviewed the G1 in its entirety last year. Go look at my Civil Takes predictions. This match is a G1 climax rematch from last year, but also it really makes me wonder, is he turning heel? Is he going to sell All Elite Wrestling? Is this a one-time thing? I don't know the exact conditions right now of Jeff Cobb's contract with Ring of Honor. But this is a match that's official, and we're getting it tomorrow. It is Jon Moxley, the number one contender to the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, versus, well, Le Champion. Jericho called him a hired assassin. Basically, Jeff Cobb, the Hawaiian Juggernaut. This guy debuted last week, literally giving Jon Moxley a tour of the ends after the Inner Circle got the best of Jon Moxley and beat him down senseless. And now we have this just one-on-one encounter out of nowhere. Once again, a way for Chris Jericho to try and soften up Jon Moxley ahead of their championship match at AEW Revolution. And I have to imagine next week's going to be the contract signing. So, with that being said, keeping it simple and figured about right now, Jon Moxley, all the momentum in the world. He beat Jeff Cobb, by the way, in their G1 match one-on-one. Do I see this the same scenario? Do I see a DQ finish? Do I see Jeff Cobb winning here and continuing his run? Or is this a one-off thing? Right now, I feel like this is kind of the easiest one to call. I feel this is a one-off thing for now, just to add fuel to the fire, further piss off Jon Moxley, but a further show he's willing to take on the world and anybody and anything. Doesn't fear anything. F you. I think Jon Moxley is going to win this match, one way or another. And he's going to pin Jeff Cobb. But then La Champion will be watching on. We'll get the karaoke entrance, of course, where everyone sings Judas when Chris Jericho came out. Again, I did that live in Cleveland. It was a lot of fun. And I feel like that Jon Moxley is going to basically state his mission statement. And he's going to take that belt, yes, they say belt, away from Chris Jericho. And maybe put him in the hospital. And yes, they say hospital too. Only time will tell. And who knows, maybe he might take someone else's eye in the Inner Circle. Only time will tell. I really wonder how long he's going to wear that eye patch. Is he going to wear that at Revolution? We'll see. But with that being said, those are the only matches that are known so far as of right now for AEW Dynamite. And it is a very stacked show already. And I can't wait. There's no doubt we're going to have more women's action as we determine who's next to face the champ who will be out to speak. Segue. Tomorrow night on AEW Dynamite. What will Nyla Rose say? What will Nyla Rose proclaim? Will this be a WWE type promo where people will interrupt her and state their claim and number one contender, blah, blah, blah? Or are they just going to already sub the number one contenders match, which at this point would be Chris Statlander? Because right now, she has the strongest win-loss record and is ranked number one. And based on the win AEW Dark, I don't see that changing. Or will we get Britt Baker once again coming out stating why she is a role model, and will we get the actual heel versus heel dynamic that could work in the women's division because she is finally building her heel character? I don't know. Or are we going to get Hikaru Shida and Britt Baker set up because Hikaru Shida might come out, then Britt Baker might attack her because again, Britt Baker is attacking everybody, particularly people that aren't there every week, but she already took out Yuka. I don't know if she'll go after Riho, and they don't do automatic rematch clauses here. You have to earn everything, which is something I respect. But I guess only time will tell. But if I were to set up a championship match right now for AEW Revolution for the women's title, I feel like it has to be at this point Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida. I mean, it could be Shayna, but she beat her in a tables match. Could be Shayna Gibbs, but she literally powerbombed her on top of Shayna in that tables match. Nyla Rose has been the most dominant besides Hikaru Shida, and Nyla Rose is now the champion. By the way, that belt, way too small. Make it bigger. Customize it. New belt. I'm just saying. But all I can say is this. I'm looking forward to AEW Revolution. They're obviously going to highlight more of the fact we're going to get Jake Hager's debut against the Natural, Dustin Rhodes. It was great meeting Dustin live. There's going to be more highlighting, of course, of Darby Allin potentially calling and setting up a match one-on-one with Sammy Guevara without his voice ever since getting that skateboard driven into his throat. We're going to get more highlighting as we set up towards Pac vs. Kenny Omega in the Iron Man match. I'm sure Pac's going to have some sort of promo insulting Omega, regardless of the outcome of their Tag Team Championship match. And I feel like Riho is definitely going to have something to say to Nyla, but I just don't see her being on Dynamite tomorrow. And as far as anything else, well, that's all up to chance at this point. I really don't know. But bottom line is this. AEW Dynamite, they lit the fuse. Time to go boom. It is going to be a stacked, explosive show tomorrow. And I can't wait to see it. As I always simulcast Wednesday Night Wrestling. So with that being said, those are my brief thoughts, takeaways, recaps, predictions, and outlooks, and simple takes on both AEW Dark tonight and AEW Dynamite for tomorrow. So thank you for tuning in to this simple pilot. Let me know what you all thought. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit that bell to know the next video is going to go live. Hit the subscribe button, helps me grow the channel. And if you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man. And if you haven't figured out by now, I am a lifelong fan of wrestling. So if you want to follow me and talk anything wrestling, the 5 brands of WWE or New Japan Pro Wrestling, number 1, AEW, Stardom, Ring of Honor, Impact, OVE, the list goes on and on, NWA, look me up on Twitter, nodq.com/no. It takes you to my Twitter page, or at nfoster1916, or follow me on Instagram, #SupermanInLife, at nfoster1916. I'll give you a nice hello, my thoughts, perspectives, grades, anything wrestling I find there, and just, nice food pick or two, because I like food. But I also like to be a positive, not role model, because Britt Baker's that, kind of like encouragement to you. Or follow my simple YouTube channel here at youtube.com/user/nofoster210. New content every week, new series. As you can see here, I'm working with other products I might work on. I'm working on cleaning up my room. You might get a new retrospective of my area. I got more shirts, more pictures, autographs, all type of stuff. Anyway, new content every week, nice new organized playlist for you. At the heart of my series, #2, if I like matters, that reviews the Purple Orange brand of WWE, then now and forever, for I respect Cruiserweight Wrestling and have a huge passion towards Junior Heavyweight Champion Wrestling. Thank you, Liger. And if you haven't figured out by now, the reason I even got into YouTube, support No DQ. The reason I'm in YouTube, for I'm in dead the No DQ family. I am the simple man of No DQ. Botch. I'm Matthew Botchamania. So buy a shirt. Buy my shirt. I have a shirt. Buy a pillow. Buy a tapestry. Buy a sticker. Support my friends. Just do it. NoDQ.com/merch. Take you to the store. Follow NoDQ.com on other social media platforms. Your opinions matter. There's a comment section everything on the official website. Polls, columns, memes, gifts, reviews, sexy female pics. You name it, it's there. Primarily wrestling WWE, with a little bit of AEW and independent wrestling. Please stay tuned to NoDQ.com, as we will be giving you full coverage of Puncher Redacted, as I keep track for the Predictions League for Team NoDQ, as well as the NoDQ Galaxy Predictions League. Please stay tuned. There will be a form on that as well. Good luck to you, Charlene Drinker. Your title is on the line, and everybody that's been involved in the league, and I welcome all newcomers. Stay tuned as well for Team NoDQ, as we will come together to predict, analyze, and maybe even review AEW Revolution. And also stay tuned to this simple YouTube channel, where I will also be giving a bracketology, brief outtake, and my top 4 to win the New Japan Cup coming up next month. I might even do a simple take based on the events that occurred this week in the 4 championship matches, as well as the 2 retirements. Only time will tell. It's hard, though, being a low budget college student, full-time worker. You get what I mean. Anyway, stay tuned for more predictions, outtakes, wrestling, as well as far as Ring of Honor goes, and maybe an Impact Wrestling. Only time will tell, and definitely NWA Crockett Cup. And as always, I'd like to close. Support your wrestling outlets big and small. Let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, too sweet wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, I hope I shed some light to you in this debut episode of AEWSPARK on both AEW Dark, AEW Dynamite, and All Elite Wrestling in its entirety. What did you think? What would you like to see more? Do you have any questions? Who impresses you in All Elite Wrestling? Do you even know All Elite Wrestling? Do you want to know more about All Elite Wrestling? Please let me know. Again, please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit that bell to know when the next video is going to go live. Hit the subscribe button, help me grow the channel. Thank you to the 117 that have been with me in this fun little YouTube creator's journey. That's all it is for me. It's just fun. It's about wrestling. No business sense of monetizing for me. I don't need to be owned or corporately structured. I just decided to do this because it's a way to demonstrate my passion, and it's a creative outlook. And also, please follow my friends in the Dynamite Predictions League, where we literally predict, and our wins and losses matter too, in the All Elite Wrestling Dynamite League, current season going on. So if you haven't already, there will be a link in the description down below for the wrestling, excuse me, my voice is going out, Wrestling Discussions Facebook group, Pro Wrestling Report, led of course by my friend Gary Paradis. He is the leader, of course, and I thank him for this. And currently in the league right now, Charlotte Lindbergh is in first. Sean Bale is also tied in first. Records of 62-15, 62-16. Sherry Fredericks, 54-20. You see how long I've been predicting on Elite Wrestling. I'm also tied for in second with 54-20. That's wins and losses, by the way, folks. My friend, the Holiday Christopher Mason, is in third with 49-18. And Scott Connor's in fourth with 46-14. Anything can happen tomorrow. These predictions matter. Your predictions matter too. Why not join the fun? Join us in our league. Join us in our simple little Facebook family too. So please, again, follow the link in the description down below if you want to be part of this all elite wrestling league. But until the next video, as I always say, take care, enjoy life, tomorrow's never guaranteed, treasure your moments, treasure your families, and enjoy wrestling. Find something for you. Find something that connects to you. There's more wrestling out there than ever before. Something out there for everybody, I'm sure. But until the next video where I may shed some light, I hope you all have a good night. And always be elite. The elite. The elite. I had to do that. It's how I start my week every week. Being the elite. Simple as that. It's not just a catchphrase. It's just a way of life. Be yourself. That's being elite. Good night, everybody.